this is it. Keep it going. You're a great audience. Ryan Dempsey.
Big shout out to Joe Knotson, everybody. I have to say, I'm glad to be alive after the set about Satan, man. I thought for sure I was going to make Jamaica, man. I thought that was it for me, man. I thought Satan was going to pop up here. Thank you, man. But how's everybody doing on this Sunday? Are you Nate the Great?
No, he went to the bathroom.
He went to the bathroom.
He'll be back.
Okay. He's probably going to beat off because of that whole conversation. He's probably going to move to that shit, right? All right. How was everybody's New Year? Everybody had a good New Year?
Yeah.
Any Satan sightings in the New Year?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. My New Year was eventful. I just had to break the news to my parents that my girlfriend is pregnant. Right? We're not keeping it. We're not keeping it. That was the tougher part to break. They didn't see that one coming. But it's tough to go through that whole experience because my mom was talking about what her experience was like when she gave birth to me and my siblings. The conversation of, do I do it natural? Do I take drugs? You know what I mean? So we had that conversation, and she was like, should I do it natural? Should I do drugs? And I was like, I don't know what you're doing, but I'm gonna be on all the fucking drugs that day, all of them. Yeah. My mom, I found out she's never been high before. That's news to me. My mom has never been high in her life. Does anybody here know anyone that's never been high? Who?
My mom.
Ah, okay. Well, that makes sense. I guess it's just the mom thing. Yeah, I'm actually super passionate about the prospect of getting my mom high. It's something it's like a little bit of a pet project I'm working on. Like I'm figuring out how I could do it, inconspicuously. I've been thinking about maybe heroin. Just because, like, her birthday's coming up, right? It'll be the perfect time for it because, heroin's a good first stop because it's also the best last stop. That's probably the But yeah, so I was thinking, I know she's always wanted to go to Greece, right? So how would that conversation go, you think? I go to my mom, right? I'm like, Mom, I know you've always wanted to go to Greece, but how would you feel about Mexico? And she's like, oh my God, you got me tickets to Mexico? No, I got you heroin from Mexico. I don't know. And my dad, can never do anything with my dad. We learned all this holiday season. My dad is a former NYPD. He's retired, and all that means is that you cannot watch a single fucking movie that has anything to do with the NYPD without him questioning some aspect of the procedures that they follow in those movies. So we were watching The Avengers, right? Everybody we was just talking about The Avengers. So at the end of the first Avengers movie, there's aliens coming from a hole in the sky and shit. And the cops are figuring out what the fuck to do. And then there's one scene where Captain America, he just drops down, he kicks some ass, and then he turns to the cops and he's like, hey, you're going to set up a perimeter, you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. And the cops are like, gotcha, Captain America. And my dad lost it, man. My dad could not believe that shit. He said, that's fucking bullshit, that would never fucking happen, they would never listen to a civilian. And I was like, we're watching the Avengers, there's aliens coming from a hole in the sky, you got a big green motherfucker, but the NYPD suspending protocol is the most implausible part of that entire movie. So that's what living with my family is like. But NYPD, man, they do a good job. I know there's some shit happening in the world, and then 2018 was a bit of a fuck show, but New York it's an aggressive place, man. We all know it. New York's aggressive. This is how aggressive it is. I was walking around last week, and this guy comes up to me and he asked me for a cigarette, and I don't smoke, so I don't have one. I'm like, sorry, I can't help you. And his response was, well, fuck you then. I said, oh my God. No one has ever made me feel bad for not smoking before, so now I've picked up the habit, just so that guy I work in catering, and so one day I was cutting some sandwiches up for an order, and one of my coworkers, he looks at the way I'm cutting, I guess I was doing it weird, and he's like, yo, why are you holding a knife like that? He was black. He goes, why are you holding the knife like that? And I'm like, I'm just cutting the sandwiches for the order. And he goes, you ain't never cut nobody before, have you? And I said, no. Have you? which I learned I probably shouldn't have asked because he definitely did. He spent 15 years in a prison in Houston, and he's actually the nicest person I've ever met. You know, murder charges aside. But yeah, has anybody ever ordered from the McDonald's in Times Square? Anybody ever go, right? Joe Naughton's gotten some grub from the McDonald's in Times Square. That's a magical place because that's the only place in the country where you can go wanting a McChicken, but somehow leave with crack. It's great. I remember I was walking in there one day, and I was going through a point in my life where I was really passionate about getting abs, but all you need to do is walk by, whoops, a McDonald's, and then you'll think, I don't want a 6-pack, I want a 6-piece. Right? So I'm in the McDonald's and I'm waiting in line. This guy comes up to me with a backpack, real super shady. He was also black. And he goes, yo man, I got the drugs, you want the drugs? And I was like, I don't know man, I kind of want the 20-piece. But I'm a millennial, I like drugs, so I was like, well, what do you got? Let's negotiate. He's like, I got everything. And I was like, oh my god, this guy's like the Willy Wonka of drug dealers. He's got everything. He's got more selection in his menu than the McDonald's that we're in right now. So that was the day I also learned never to give a drug dealer the money until you absolutely have the product on hand. So I gave him like $40 for acid, right? Because some people like scrapbooking, I like tripping acid. So what? So I gave him the $40 and he goes, I'll be right back. And I said, cool. And this is my impression of me waiting 2 hours later. Now, I never saw Chronic again after that, because that was the name he gave me. He said his name was Chronic, which I still doubt is his given birth name. But yeah, so I never saw him again. All this that I think you guys should take away from this is that I really think you should all try acid. It's great. It's so good. God, it's like they call it, you trip for a reason. You can go on a vacation without leaving the house. It's great. I have ADHD. So taking acid wasn't the smartest thing for me to do. I remember, I never know what to recommend when friends ask for places to eat when they come visit. I just always recommend acid. But so I was doing it, and it's scary because it's a hallucinogen. So you can never. The first time I actually did it, I had a threesome, and it's scary because the 3-way felt more like a 73-way. And the other scary thing about it is you don't know what the girl is going to turn into because she's morphing right before your eyes. Her weight is shifting dramatically, and I didn't know if she was going to turn into Beyonce or into my brother Robert. But it's scary. I'll leave you go. That was the light, right? I don't know if you guys know. Oh, you were taking a video?
No, a picture.
Oh, okay. I'm all types of fucked up here. Anyway, it was really refreshing to get diagnosed with ADHD because now I know I'm not just some regular stupid idiot. I'm retarded. So, but I remember when I was diagnosed, my mom, she took it really hard. She was in the hospital crying because I guess she anticipated that it was going to be like a burden for me moving forward, like I wasn't going to be a normal kid. And I just remember thinking, Mom, relax. I have ADHD. The doctor didn't say I have AIDS, but I think I'm going to be fine. Unless the doctor did say AIDS, I don't know. I tuned out because I had AIDS. It very well be. I don't know. Another thing about me that you wouldn't necessarily know by looking at me is I'm Puerto Rican. It's so refreshing to be able to come out and let you guys all know. But the good thing about looking white but being Puerto Rican is I have all the advantages of being white, none of the disadvantages of being Hispanic. And the reason I feel I can say that not be offensive is because I'm Hispanic. So I get to pick and choose when I'm going to be Puerto Rican and when I'm going to be white, right? So I remember in high school there was this one girl I was really adamant about dating, but she said she only dates Hispanics, and I was like, well, I've got a secret for you, mamacita. I was in the club one time, this guy was starting shit with my friend, and I told him, yo, back up, bro, she doesn't want to talk to you. And he was like, get the fuck out of my face, white boy. He was black, too. And I was like, I'm not white, I'm Puerto Rican, so what's up? Right? Because I got the Hispanic edge. When I get stopped by the cops, what do you think? If you could be white or black when you get stopped by the cops, wouldn't you rather be white? Right? I'm going to tell you a story about my Puerto Ricanness. In high school, I was the only white-looking kid in my high school. Right, so it took my mom actually coming to school and speaking Spanish for my friends to finally believe that I was Puerto Rican. So one of my friends comes up to me, and he goes, "So you Puerto Rican, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, looks that way. I'm glad you finally know." And he goes, "That's cool, man. You know what that means, right?" And I said, "What? What does that mean?" He goes, "That means technically you're a minority." And I said, "Okay, that's cool." And he goes, "That means you can say nigga." And I was like, "Oh yes!" So I went to the park and the next day to exercise my birthright. So I went to the park, everyone's bawling. I said, "What's up, my niggas?" And everyone looked at me, kind of like how you're all looking at me now, except they were bigger, blacker, and had guns. So one of them comes up to me and he goes, "What the fuck you said, white boy?" And I said, "Hey man, it's cool, I'm Puerto Rican." And he goes, "Puerto Rican? What's your last name?" And I said, "Dempsey, so what?" I don't know what difference that has to make. Alright, I guess I'll leave you guys with one more thing. Another thing that I am that you might not necessarily know is I am also straight. Yeah, it's also really nice to come out and say that. I had some trouble dating for a while. So I remember one thing I used to do in high school is I would go to Victoria's Secret and spray myself in perfume so my mom would think I was out with a woman. I'd come home and my mom would be like, "What's your name? You smell so nice." And I'd be like, "Oh, Victoria." But I had some Tinder trouble. I was on Tinder for like 3 months and nothing happened. I was swiping right every day. I was trying to fuck something somewhere. But I left my phone in my buddy's house and he swapped my account from straight to gay. And within 2 hours, all of my luck had been reversed on Tinder. So this one guy offered me 10 grand. I didn't switch it back either because I found the attention flattering. But this one guy offered me 10 grand to have sex with him, and I was like, "I don't think so, man." And then that's when he was like, "I'll give you 10 grand." And I was like, "I didn't say no." I said, "I don't think so." 10 grand's enough to make me do anything. All right, thank you guys. Give it up for Joe Mountain again.